I create a fight between Spider-Man and Rhino, which will be at the end of the Amazing Spider-Man 2, entirely in Blender. So let's recap quickly. At first, you should know that initially I had no idea and no plan about what I will do. Nothing at all. I haven't followed any animation course. I am not a professional. I animate only as a hobby. So I start working randomly and without any reference. I did everything in disorder. Starting with the world environment, I create a street scene with only 4K texture everywhere. So I found myself with an heavy and difficult scene to work on, in which each click took me like 10 minutes to load. You may think that after this I should avoid making the same mistake. I repeated the same action in this sequence, featuring an intricate interior scene with a lot of simulation, resulting in a considerable number of errors and bugs in this particular sequence. I had a tough time staying motivated along the project, and to avoid quitting, I chose to work on separate sections when I had a particular idea. For example, I did the final swing in the middle of the project because I was bored about everything else, and it helped me staying enjoyed about the project. Without forgetting, I chill out to join them later. Quick anecdote. I am a stuntman, that's my job, so since I'm 11, I do flips. A lot of flips every day. And that's so cool, because during the animation process, I found out that animating flips is super easy for me. Finger in the nose, no need to reference. Don't worry man, I am so good at animating. Okay, flips are easy for me, but it's because it's straight and clean pose. But natural movement is not clean and not straight, it's chaotic. I can't even animate a proper walk cycle, what a shame. The hardest part for me was all these small body movements. You can't even imagine how much time I spent on these single walking back sequences. Let's talk about simulation now. I loved working on simulation, like the one on this shot where I had to pin vertices on empty on each side of a cylinder, then link the empty to another circular empty, controlling the entirety. Developing this technique took many tries before finding the right workflow. So if you want a tutorial on the technique I explained, let me know in the comments. And if you want to learn more about web simulation, I've created already 2 tutorials that was up on my YouTube, so take a look. The customs fold, crucial for a Spider-Man suit, was simulated with the close modifier using reverse white paint technique. For the action scenes with a lot of movement where the close modifier won't work, I use displace modifier and closing texture for fabric flapping effect. I did all my destruction simulation in a new Blender project every time by importing only the collision element from my main scene. And once finished, I beg to keyframe everything before re-importing it into my main scene. By the way, if you don't want to spend any time creating simulation, you should check my Patreon shop. I shared a pack of destruction simulation assets that I create for this project, which can be really helpful for you. There is a total of 16. They are all begged to keyframe and linked to an empty to facilitate placement in your scene. Back to the project. Switching from outdoor to indoor scene was so good because my scene lightened up and the world became smoother and more enjoyable. So I began to add small Easter eggs in my shot, such as the Blender wallpaper on this computer, this reference to Deadpool,
maximum effort.
or this customized post-it. Aren't they cute? Again, the environment of this scene and the one later in the bank vault are both on my Patreon shop as an asset pack, so don't hesitate. Initially, I had bigger vision for the project. I planned for them to fall onto a subway line and follow the fight from the civilian perspectives. After stopping subway, Spider-Man returned to the streets to prevent building collapse due to Rhino who destroyed pillar. But it will be too long and too complicated. Man, I'm on this project for almost 2 years. I need to finish. So instead, I changed for a quick, spectacular and acrobatic ending. The main inspiration for this shot, where Spider-Man targets the Rhino ball, was inspired by anime. I talk about the framing and the camera movement, not the fact that he aimed for his ball. I create this simple camera rig through boxes with a pass constraint on 2 circles that move autonomously from the camera. Then I interact with the child-off modifier on my camera rig to make sure a smooth transition between the 2 rotation points was ensured and maintained along the process. After creating the ground destruction simulation in a new Blender project, I re-import everything and slow down the keyframe where I needed to create a slow motion. I also played with the time speed parameter in the close modifier to make sure the webs also slow down. The metal deformation at the impact point was simply made by using shape key. Also, the camera work in this shot gave me a headache as I had to rework it so much. I restart from scratch like 15 times. In the end, I really liked the outcome. All the voices were made using AI. I used the Play HT website, which allowed me to clone the voices of Andrew Garfield, J.K. Simmons, and Margot Robbie for the female voices at the end. They face criticism in the comments, and I understand why. On my side, I like the equipment for good audio recording, and I can't afford to hire a voice actor. So AI was a good alternative, because I couldn't do a Spider-Man project without making him talk, and I think everyone could agree on that. I would also like to do a big up to the 3D model of Andrew Garfield's face that I took the time to create, rig, groom for nothing, because in the end I didn't use it once. So big shout out to you, Andrew's face, you did your best. For the final shot, I use as reference this comics image drawn by Kill NGU. The first time I saw this comics panel, I instantly fell in love, and since then it hasn't left my mind, so I had to use it as an inspiration for my final shot. I take some time to create a rig for the pigeons, only for this shot. I am now considering making an online course on how I create this type of Spider-Man visual. I see this as a two-part video, one where I create a complete scene from scratch, step by step, and one where I recap all the small tips and techniques you should use for your Spider-Man project. So let me know in the comment if you're interested. My next big project will be on Spider-Man again. Several comments have asked me to create this continuation of event in the Clock Towers after Gwen's death, and to be honest, I find the idea pretty interesting. I also gonna try to upload more on YouTube on my progress and all the behind the scene to keep you updated. To support my work, you can join my Patreon now and help me improve. The link is in the description, so don't hesitate to support me. Thank you all for following this recap, and see you soon!